How you doing, folks? Eric Carlson again here. I am running for Congress in Illinois' first congressional district as a conservative constitutionalist, and I'm running for the nomination of the Republican Party to represent the people of the first district. Uh, I put before in my first video, I said that I was going to do a series of videos explaining things. Now, what I got behind you or behind me, excuse me, looks pretty confusing. Um, and it can be if you haven't studied these things. But when you break them down issue by issue, which is what I'm going to do in all these videos, I'm going to take each of these boxes and break it down. A few of them in the same, you won't have this many videos, but I can break these things down for you. What I wanted to do is to give you an overview of what I see as the major things that are impacting American society today, and especially here in Illinois in the first congressional district. So I'd like to start out in the middle with what we all want: a better life. We want a better life for everyone here. If everyone is doing better in this district, then everybody gets along better. There's no need for the hate and the animosity and all the stuff that we see. If everybody's doing better, which we all can, um, things in general are better. Life is better. Things are more enjoyable, and that's what this country should be. We've stagnated over the last 15, 20 years. We've got into a bunch of infighting that is no good for anyone. So I'm going to go over some of these things. Like I said, I'll go in depth into a lot of these things in future videos. But right now, I just want to give you a touch on things that can help you. So, in order to get a better life, there's some certain things we need. Um, Things going around here, we'll start at the top, are things that will improve your life. These are proven to improve your life: is education. There's a lot of stuff behind education now. The issues we're having is things like school choice and with the teachers unions. And that goes into, you saw what just happened here in the city of Chicago, where they kept kids out of school, where the city and the teachers unions were arguing. Meanwhile, the children suffered, and the parents didn't really have a say in it. That's not right. Um, so you, as taxpayers and voters in this district, have the right to say what's going on. So again, I'll go into these in more detail in other videos. But a big problem with the teachers unions is teachers are forced to go into these unions and pay dues, and those dues are taken by the teachers union and funneled to the Democrat Party. Therefore, the Democrat Party backs up whatever these people are saying in the unions, and the kids suffer. Now, critical race theory, we're going to go into that in a separate video. That is divisive. That goes back to the divisiveness that I talk about, that we don't need in this country. And I'll go into the whole education, and we're not leaving anything out. We're not sugarcoating anything. I am a historian. I've studied history since I could crack a book. Since the age of 5, I've been studying stuff. I've been studying college texts since I was in the 5th grade, because I had some good teachers and they saw some potential and they gave me some reading material. And I've been interested in that stuff my entire life. So education with colleges, there's uh, there's a way to deal with this. The Democrats, excuse me, like I said, we're low budget here. The Democrats have told you that they want to give free college to everyone. Well, that's just idiotic on the surface, and it doesn't work. And not everyone needs to go to college. And we're seeing that right now. All this college debt, and then people want to turn around and get rid of your college tuition, or the student debt. Forgive the student debt. Well, that's not free. That's not giving people free school. That's taking money from the taxpayers who paid in, and the government loaned that money behalf and just had the people default on the loan. So the taxpayers are the ones who get screwed. Um, Cost of living. Cost of living is a big one. If you have a low cost of living, you have more money in your pocket and you have the ability to do more things. You become more mobile, upwardly mobile. You can move to a better house, a better neighborhood. You can improve your neighborhood, the neighborhood you live in. And when you improve these things, then life gets better in that neighborhood and crime goes down. This is proven. And again, I'll go into these in the videos. But cost of living breaks down into two things: food that you need to survive, and your goods, things that you want to buy and have. All this stuff increases in price when fuel prices, because everything travels by truck in this country. Everything moves by truck. So if you have high fuel prices, everything's going to go up. And you're seeing that right now. Not only are you seeing shortages because of the supply chain issues, but you're also seeing the prices have gone. If you've gone to the grocery store lately, you see how the prices are going up. That's all related to fuel prices. Now, Joe Biden has tried to tell you that fuel prices are because of greedy oil companies and stuff. No, they're not. There's because simple supply and demand. We don't have enough in the quote pipeline, excuse the pun, which Joe Biden on day one shut down pipelines in this country, which is causing a lot of this problem. We were energy independent under Donald Trump. We are no longer energy independent. Joe Biden is begging OPEC to open up oil. You see our prices. You remember the last time gas prices were this high? They got up to over $5 a gallon in the city of Chicago. That was under Barack Obama and Joe Biden. It's their policies, people. It's not. This isn't an attack on the people themselves. It's the policies. Democrats just don't get it, or if they do get it, they're doing this on purpose, and it's hurting you. That's who it's hurting. It hurts everybody when they do this stuff. So if you can have a better cost of living, better education, and better jobs, higher paying jobs. How do you get higher paying jobs? First of all, the employers, the people create the jobs. You need to lower the income tax, or excuse me, the corporate tax on them. You also need to lower income tax on Americans overall. This is shown. There's been 4 tax cuts in American history. 4 major tax cuts across the board. Corporate taxes were cut, and that was under John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump. Each of those 4 times, the income tax rate was lowered, and the overall amount of money, the proceeds coming in, increased. So how do you get that? How would that happen? We'll go into that in another video. So you need to lower those taxes, get the employers the incentive to hire more people. When you hire more people are working. That's less people in the job market. It becomes a tight job market if you don't allow illegal immigrants in. This is what happened under Donald Trump. He closed the border, secured the border. There were no illegal immigrants coming in, or very few. That opened up more jobs to who? People first starting out in the job market, who are a lot of minority kids. This is where you saw black unemployment, the lowest in U.S. history under Donald Trump. Black youth unemployment, the lowest in U.S. history under Donald Trump. More black kids were getting jobs early. And you know what you're doing if you're working? You're not hanging out on the street. If you're not hanging out on the street, you're not causing trouble. Your crime goes down, your gun violence goes down. Because I can tell you, young men left to their own devices, because I was a young man, will get in trouble. That's just what we do. You can blame it on testosterone. You can blame it on stupidity. You can blame it on whatever you want. But if you get these kids jobs, good paying jobs, but if you allow illegals to come in, what does that do? That undercuts the people that are here, because these people that are coming in are they're willing to work for much less, which opens up the job market, which creates less good paying jobs, creates lower wages, and that lowers your standard of living across the board for everyone. So again, we'll go into these in other videos, and all this ties in, folks, and it ties into other things. This is just a simplified version, but I want you to see the way I look at the world and how these things can be solved. And when you break down each problem, again, using logic and common sense, you can solve these problems. And if you just stop the bickering in Congress, you can get this stuff. You could get this stuff done in a week. You could pass legislation that would have all this covered in a week, literally. Next thing, foreign policy. Now, I know a lot of people in my district don't care about it. Most people are focused on what's in front of them, which is life. That's it. You're focused on your family, your bills, your car problems, kids going to school. Those are the things you're focused on. But this is important. This does affect you. The way the world is a very dangerous place right now. And if you're going to go to Congress, you have to know this stuff. I looked at the Democrat slate right now, the folks that are running for Congress on the Democrat side, looking for the Democrat nomination, and none of them are career politicians. None of them have been to Washington. This is an open seat in the 1st District. When you read their bios, they all look like good people. They all look like they're doing community stuff, just like I do. They're trying to help people at a local level, and now they're trying to step that up. I don't know any of them personally. Hopefully I'll get to meet some of them. I'm sure I'll run into them on the campaign trail, and we can discuss stuff. This is all about working out. Whoever gets elected from this district is going to be a freshman congressman after a 30-year held seat. So whoever goes there is going to be new. So we're all on equal footing there. None of us have ever been to Washington or been to Congress before. But foreign policy, it's very important that you know this stuff, and this is something that I excel at. So we'll cover that because we do have some serious risks to this country's security, which means every man, woman, and child. If you think that the Chinese are not a threat to your way of life, I'm going to break it down for you. The next thing is U.S. military. Now, this is something I'm very passionate about, being a veteran. The U.S. military, they've tried to make it into a petri dish for social experiments over the last 30 years. It started with Bill Clinton bringing this in, and it weakens the force. The military is there for one job: to be a lethal fighting force that can defend this country and deter aggression. It's there to create peace by being ready to make war. This whole thing they came in, and this goes back to the divisiveness. They're telling you that the military is full of white supremacists. Well, as a white male who served in the military honorably, I take that as an insult, an outright insult, and I know that all my fellow veterans do. What this does is this sows seeds of discontent within the ranks. And I'll tell you, if you want to see in this country the most egalitarian, the most equal of terms, you go to an infantry unit, and you're going to see people of every race in there, and they're working together. And in an infantry unit, you work very close, you live very close together, you get to know each other inside and out. That's where it breaks down. You won't see the racism there. You'll see it in other places where people don't rely on each other. When people have to rely on each other and work together, that shit goes right out the window. One thing I forgot to mention, I do speak like a ranger at times, so you will hear some things coming out of my mouth that you probably won't hear any other candidates saying on the trail, but I would apologize for it, but I'm not sorry because, as I told you, I'm going to be totally blunt, totally honest with you in everything I tell you. All this leads to weakness, and weakness leads to war, and that goes back over here. Again, we're going to cover all this stuff. The federal government, I don't think anybody here is fond of the federal government. Anybody from any political background, the way things are going. Congress has a 13% approval rating. Literally, ticks have a higher approval rating than congressional members as a body. They're overreach. They want to be in every aspect of your life. That's not their job. The founding fathers did not design this country to have them looking over your shoulder at everything. That's why you have local representatives at the state, at the city, at the county level. They should be, because they know what's going on in your neighborhood. Those are the people who should be making those decisions, not people in Washington. You send me to Washington, I shouldn't be doing that. I should be worrying about the overall big picture to set it up so you can have success here, and that the people at the local level can work within those parameters and get you a better life. This is what we're going for everyone. So corruption, we all know about that. We're from Illinois. Illinois is the most corrupt state. This is documented. The most corrupt state in the country. Illinois has had more public officials, politicians indicted and sent to prison than any other state in the country. We lead. We're number one. It's embarrassing, but we all know how it is here. The problem is that we've gotten so used to it that we take it as just, well, that's how life is. It doesn't need to be that way. We can stop it right now. Last one I'll go over is media and big tech. Now we all know this. Wherever you stand on it, they are biased. Now you can say this side is biased that way, that side. Either way, the media is not supposed to be biased, and I have solutions for this. Everything I hear, I have a solution for. This isn't something that I just thought up. I've thought on this stuff for years. I've come up with plans for this stuff for years, and this is just me finally putting it into action. Big tech, these guys stoke fear. They want the fear and the divisiveness because you know what? It sells. It sells for them. It makes money for them. It gets people to tune into them. And they're doing it at our expense. It does none of us any good. none of us to get stressed out and go read what some idiot said on Facebook, or that what passes for journalism. Anybody now can become a journalist. Just say whatever they want, spout, and it gets printed, and then it gets picked up by other people and spread out, like that old game telephone. It just spreads across the country, and everybody, well, I heard it from so and so and so and so, and nobody bothers to actually see if it's factual. This stuff, racism. Every day you hear racism this, racism that. And I'm going to be talking to a lot of Black Democrats and Latino Democrats and Latino Republicans and hopefully Black Republicans. And you're going to see something. You saw in the last election, Donald Trump more than doubled his support in the Black community in 2020. Now, why is that? Democrats are worried that Blacks will leave and actually see. You've got to get away from that instinct to vote for this party just because we've always voted for the Democrats and we've always been told. Open your mind, think for yourself, and just look. Have they really helped me? Has Bobby Rush for 30 years, have things gotten better in my neighborhood? Yeah, he may have opened a clinic here or a child daycare thing here, but in 30 years, balance that out. Has things really gotten better? Have things really gotten better for you? With the plan, the things I'm going to show you, can get it to where you actually bring businesses back in and create better jobs. It's not hard if the people want it and they put the right people in to get it done. So the media and tech, they influence elections. They shouldn't, but they do. This needs to be investigated by Congress. This is something that both sides need to look into and crack down on, and just say, hey, you know what? Maybe you guys need to just go dark for the entire election period. Offer no election comment on anything, anywhere. Just keep it off your platform entirely. That would eliminate, all the misinformation and disinformation that goes on. And this racism, people out there telling me that Republicans and conservatives hate Black people or hate brown people or this or that, that's bullshit. It's flat out bullshit. Like I said, I'll go into this in more videos, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what I'm going to be covering, because I want the people out there, if you're going to vote for me, to know exactly where I stand on everything that's going to affect you. The politicians out there are going to come and they're going to, like I said, they're going to give you some platitudes and they're going to give you some slogans and they're going to expect your vote. The Democrats want your vote and they expect your vote. You're in the first district. It's already marked down. Safe Democrat, solid Democrat. Don't let them do that to you. Don't let them take you for granted. That's all I'm asking. Give me a chance. All right. Again, my name is Eric Carlson. I'm running for Congress in the 1st Congressional District in Illinois. I'm running as a Republican, but I am going to represent every single person in this district. Thank you.